There's another comparison where you talk about like Americans or English versus Russians, and you know, Russians seem rude, but it's because they've lived under this, lifestyle where like it was life and death, so they don't have time for all this niceties. They need to know where you stand, and so they may come across to a lot of Americans as rude, but they're just being direct. They're like, no, but they're
Mm,
like you said, they're probably much more compassionate, much more helpful, much more kind. They're just may come across as rude because of how they speak and how direct they are and how
mm,
they'll look at you in the face, and you say, how do you like this? Like that's stupid. You know, that's kind to them. They're just being honest. You ask them a question, they're being honest. This whole fake political correctness and niceties of, oh, don't say that, you might hurt their feelings. Well, we see what happens when people don't get their feelings hurt occasionally. We see what's going on in the world today, especially here in the West and in the States. People don't get their feelings hurt occasionally. They don't start asking questions like, well, maybe that was me. They don't start any self inquiry of, well, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I should look at this. Maybe I should. No, if they're not challenged ever, if they're not made to feel bad ever, then there is no self inquiry. Then you get these entitled children that are running around that you can't tell them nothing because they know everything because nobody's ever told them no. Nobody's ever told them that's not cool. You can't do that.
mm,
Nobody's ever like hurt their feelings. And so I think kindness is something we should definitely bring back. Kindness is something that is about being honest. It's about being honest about your feelings, about being honest about your opinion, and then allow people to have their reactions to it and let that be okay. This whole fake kindness, fake niceness stuff with political correctness, it's not doing anybody any good.